Okay, not bad. Not bad. Good drill, isn't it? Huh?
Not just special teams. Lajohntay Wester has to be one of my favorite stories to follow coming through the draft, not just because he's a former Buffalo, but because he has a certain skill set that I think can thrive quite well in the modern NFL. And it seems like the Ravens don't just think that he can be someone to bury on the draft stock. They think that he is someone who solves one of their biggest issues in an almost 100% complete team that was ready to compete for a Super Bowl. So today we're going to hop in and check in on Lajohntay. We got some mic'd up clips with him doing some returns with the head man in charge. We got a few other small clips, and then we're going to read actually a full article kind of speaking about the pain that Lajohntay is going to hopefully alleviate for Panthers fans, Baltimore Ravens fans, geez Louise. And then after that, we're going to get into the stats. I want to go over the stats of Lajohntay, what he's done in the return game, what the Ravens need in the run game. And then if we have some times, we're going to check on some other Buffaloes because it seems like there are some updates both for Shiloh Sanders, a small one, and then a bigger update for Will Shepherd as he's been seeing out there in Denver, Colorado's pro day trying out. So let's get right into it. Here's a quick clip of Lajohntay coming out. They've been stingy with these clips now. When it was rookie OTA, I feel like he was the first person to come out, but he hasn't been a little more stingy about the clips. But this clip is not stingy. We're just gonna watch. Actually, let's go ahead and watch it on X just to get the full shindig. And this is a mic'd up moment between Harbaugh, who if I'm saying
the spot on the field where you think it's going to come.
Somebody can correct me. Harbaugh has not just a deep background in coaching, but I if I'm not mistaken, he has a deep background in special teams coaching. So he's done special teams coaching. It's a part of him, just like defensive minded coaching is a part of him. That often special teams coordinators become defensive coordinators. Not the point. So you're gonna see a pretty, I think, special moment between the head coach and hopefully a player who can make a giant impact for the Ravens.
Come down, right?
Now, a few things. I really hope the Ravens don't come. Anyway, I want to point out a few things. The first thing I want to point out is something that if you're, and we can see it right there. It's, if you're a Colorado fan, it's something that you already know, and it's the intentiveness of which Lajohntay Wester is locked in with his head coach right now. Right, you can see it in his eyes. Right, you can see that he is hanging on every single syllable of Harbaugh, and rightfully so. And not just doing that, not just implementing it, but, having fun with it. Like, I know I kind of yelled while I was doing. Dog, football is fun. It's a kid sport. You're going to get paid millions of dollars to play football. Like, sometimes we take it a little too seriously, I think, as fans, as watchers, as, depending on, where you are, where you see things. But you see from here with Lajohntay, obviously, the skill set that's going to allow him to probably do well as a returner. But on top of that, the relationship that is being built, right? Hey, I'm not just going to do these drills. I'm going to go after it, right? I'm going to try my hardest. And also, hey, I'm engaged with the coach. Hey, that was that good? Was that not good? And then I think the bigger part, there's that smile, the bigger part of what this says, and this is what we're about to get into with the article, is that there has to be a bit of confidence in Lajohntay Wester, where they think in their mind that, hey, this is a guy that's going to have to contribute, right? This is a guy, and we're going to have to put him through the ringer, not just because we think he can do it, but to find out if he can do it. You're still a rookie at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and throw you into the craziness and then go from there. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Wired boys. Doing it big. They always make great content. So let's get into the conversation that surrounds specifically Lajohntay Wester and the glaring pain point that he's going to go ahead and shore up for the Baltimore Ravens. So Lajohntay Wester, this is actually back in June 9th. I'm going to just use this to intro it, just so y'all remember. June 9th, it was reported that Lajohntay Wester made the best catch of the practice, diving to haul in a pass over the middle with a defender on his back. So, last week we talked about Lajohntay being one of the top 10 players out of OTAs, right? Now we're coming to minicamp. Now he's still making plays, and he's got special moments with Harbaugh doing the return thing. And then you hear about this. Now, this is a report. It's motorcyclismo. Right. And then I think I also got some from Sports Illustrated, but it says Lajohntay Wester fills the void left by Marquise Brown, reigniting John Harbaugh's offensive dreams. Right. So a new spark in Baltimore's offense. In the world of professional football, the departure of a key player can leave a void that seems insurmountable. For the Baltimore Ravens, this was the case when Marquise Brown a pivotal figure in the offensive lineup, decided to part ways with the team in 2022. Brown, once the favorite target for quarterback Lamar Jackson, cited a misalignment with Coach John Harbaugh's offensive strategies as the reason for his departure. This left the Ravens grappling with a significant gap in their receiving core. The absence of Brown was keenly felt as the Ravens struggled to find a receiver who could replicate his impact on the field. The search for a replacement became a pressing issue, with the team exploring various options to restore the dynamic. Oh, I use this word all the time. I just never say it right. Okay. the dynamism that Brown brought to the offense. The challenge was not just to find a skilled receiver, but one who could seamlessly integrate into Harbaugh's vision for the team's offensive play. Lajohntay Wester, a promising solution. Enter Lajohntay Wester, a graduate from Colorado who has emerged as a beacon of hope for the Ravens. Wester's arrival marks a potential turning point in Baltimore's offense as he brings with him a blend of agility, speed, and a keen understanding of the game. His ability to adapt and thrive in Harbaugh's system is already drawing attention. Again, we've talked about this multiple times over the weeks, suggesting that he might be the missing piece the Ravens have been searching for. Not just special teams, and we're going to talk about special teams, but I think it's interesting to point out, because this video was mostly about Lajohntay filling the hole of being this guy, right? He can do the wide receiver stuff, but maybe he's going to do more special team stuff. The fact that it seems that consistently, this team that looks complete, right, on paper, don't forget about DeAndre Hopkins, right? With this a complete team with one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL, right? The fact that what they're missing might be a guy who can do things both. Hey, I need some dirty work done. Lajohntay Wester is a dirty work guy. He had 900 receiving yards in a room with Travis Hunter, where he had 1,400 receiving yards, where Jimmy Horn was in the same room, where Marion Miller was rookies were in the same room, and he got his, and I think 11 touchdowns as well. So I think that's great that people are recognizing that, he's that guy. But I'm gonna I'm gonna add some basis to some of these claims as well. So, revitalizing Harbaugh's offensive dreams. Wester's integration into the team signifies more than just filling a vacancy. It represents the rekindling of John Harbaugh's offensive aspirations. With Wester on board, there is a renewed optimism that the Ravens can return to their former glory. Utilizing a dynamic and versatile receiving strategy, his potential to become Jackson's new go-to target could redefine the team's offensive identity, bringing back the excitement and effectiveness that had been lost. Looking ahead, a bright future for the Ravens. As the Ravens move forward with the Wester in their ranks, the prospects for a revitalized offense are promising. His presence not only fills the void left by Brown, but also opens up new possibilities for strategic play and victories. The journey ahead is one of anticipation and potential as the team looks to harness Wester's talents to achieve new heights. The future is bright for Baltimore. The Wester is poised to play a pivotal role in their quest for success. Now, I have to slightly disagree. From, again, the receiving standpoint. I think he's going to be great from a receiving standpoint, but statistically, right? And, this is something that GM Eric DeCosta came out and said, the stats say they need a returner. They need to find some value in the return game. Let's see what they said when they first drafted Lajohntay Wester, and then we're going to get into it.
I think Wester is a guy that, what stands out about him is really his returnability. If you watch him, I think he's a twitchy, explosive punt returner. I think, last year it became evident that we could probably get better there at that position. I feel like last year's I didn't do a good enough job making sure that we had a good punt returner on the team. We had some guys, but we couldn't get the right mix, the right guy to really do it. And we think Wester has a chance to really come in here and be an impact punt returner for us. So excited about him.
Love to hear that. And like I said, you have to point out the fact that the extra work that he's been putting in, he seems to be leaning towards, at the very least, getting some play as a punt returner. So shout out to Lajohntay Wester doing those things, doing what needs to be done to get next to Harbaugh, right? We are no longer in rookie OTAs. This is no longer just, it's a 6th-round pick. Let me show you a video of him. No, this is a 6th-round pick who is clearly making an impact enough to be in these, wired interviews or whatnot, and kind of take things to that next level. So let's talk about some stats, man. I'm like to be I'm a numbers guy, right? All right, NFL teams non-offensive touchdowns per game. I want to show you this now. I brought the rank here. I probably should have actually had the thing, but this column right here is the projected touchdowns per game offensively. Now, these are like the per and whatever. These are just other breakdowns. I don't have the full thing, but I brought this here to show you that Baltimore is ranked 19th last year in NFL team non-offensive touchdowns per game. Now, that sounds pretty mid, but it doesn't sound that bad, but it also doesn't tell the full tale. As you can see, all the way to 30 and going on to 32, well, really to 29, it's all 0.1. And just to kind of speak about some of the good and bad teams around this same area, right? Washington and Philadelphia. Okay, great teams. And then you have Indianapolis and New Orleans and Las Vegas and the Jets and New England, who I know Drake May has promised, but they won like 4 games. And the Chargers and Green Bay, those are mid teams. All right, so you've got 2 of the best teams last year, right? Including 3 of the best teams in the league last year, right? Washington, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. And then you've got a plethora of mid to bad teams. And you know, so that's kind of what you should be looking at, the grouping of where are they ranked. So that's where they're ranked. And then to take it the next step, right? NFL teams, special teams touchdown per game. We look for Baltimore 15. Now, again, the problem with being ranked 15, that doesn't sound bad, is that it's not actually 15th. They're tied for 15th with the rest of the bottom half of the league at 0. Zilch. Nada. NFL teams. And by the way, this is from teamrankings.com. They do a great job. They do lots of good stuff. This is where I get my college football whenever I do my when I do my previews and we look at the rankings for each. This is the site I use. I'm just using the NFL version. NFL team, special teams points per game. Now, this is estimated. It's kind of like EPA, right? We're going to estimate how much you would do based on what you've done in the past. Baltimore at 15, at 0. The worst in the league, technically, even though it's pretty tight, right? So all those stats lead to say, hey, like the Casa says, for a very complete team, for a team that if I showed you all the other rushing numbers and offense and efficiency would be up in the top 3, top 5, whatever, and even top 10s when it comes to throwing efficiencies and things of that nature, right? They're terrible in the return game. And it's easy just to say, well, it's just special teams, it's just whatever. But if you've been watching football long, whoa, let's slow it down. If you've been watching football long enough, you understand that special teams, while small, while it might seem insignificant, that small detail of special teams, if it's not perfected, right, you can lose a game. And if it is perfected and you can take advantage of mistakes during special teams, you can completely flip a game, right? Punt returns, muffs, and this, that. Like we talk about special teams like it's whatever, a secondary thing, but it's one of the only plays or one of the only times where I'm trying to think. Every single special teams play, a point can be scored. Yeah, every single special teams play, in every play, a point can be scored, right? But when you think about it, offensively, defensively, even 2-point conversions, points can be scored, right? So, I think that is a certain level of understanding of kind of the importance there. So let's take a look at some of these returners now. 8 returns, 6 returns, 5 returns, 3 returns. This is punt returns. So, like they said, they had guys, but they clearly were looking almost as committee, right? I'm not sure what the injury situation was looking like, but when you have 8 returns, 6 returns, 5 returns, 3 returns, this looks more like, somebody was getting tested here, somebody was getting tested there, especially when you look at the yards of return, 10.6, 12.7, 11.2. I don't think that's great. 4.6, wow, that's terrible. 4.6, you know what I'm saying? Oh, and then these are free catches too, so you have, you got to add these up. Regardless, long of 16, long of 21, long of 22. So nothing phenomenal. And again, you don't got to score. I don't think you have to score a touchdown every time to be useful here in special teams. You do have to get some yards, though. And the fact that the long is 16, 21, and 22, these are not field flipping runs, right? The longest are not field flipping runs. And then you talk about the average, that's not really, helping you out. That's taking 10 yards off of that punt. And I don't think that's going to get you paid very well. And then kick return, which I think, it's kick return is a different story and a completely different beast at this point. Could Lajohntay get in the kick game? Sure. But I think the punt game makes more sense for him, especially because, punts aren't nerfed like they kind of are, or at least been changed like they have been in the NFL in the modern day. So speaking of Lajohntay and what he can do in the return game, first, I want to show you some things. These return yards are great. The return yards are great. The kickoffs there are great as well. The return yards are good, and they improve, and they improve, and they improve. Right now in Colorado, obviously he was asked to do a lot of different things. So, you lose about 5 more attempts, but still 108 yards and a touchdown, right? He's shown that he can be effective. Long of 76, long of 67, long of 41, right? He can run. He's done it at a high level, and, he's put on tape that ability there. So I think that the thing that is going to be solved the best for the Ravens is going to be special teams, and it's going to be having a punt returner who can hopefully be a little more dynamic. Now, I want to fact check myself. I like fact checking myself. John Harbaugh. I forget which Harbaugh is the Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, special teams. I want to make sure that I was right when I said John Harbaugh was a special teams coordinator in defensive backs, Philadelphia. Yes, he was. Okay. Head coach. Yep. All right. I just want to make sure. I got ball knowledge, son. I be knowing this stuff, dog. Before becoming the Ravens head coach in 2008, John was the Eagles secondary coach, and prior to that, Philadelphia's special teams coach. And what did I tell you? I told you special teams to defense. I told you that. Not the point. Let's end this video so I can shut up. Updates. Homes are gonna be super quick. First off, the Jacksonville Buffaloes. Shout out to them. You got Cam. You got Travis Hunter. You got BJ Green doing it big. Obviously, BJ Green and Cam are still trying to make the team. They are undrafted free agents, right? So they're here through training camp. Hopefully, if they make it or make it into the practice squad, they can do what they do. Just dope to see them together. Just dope to see them happen. Another Travis Hunter video coming out very soon. Don't you worry. Cam Ward video coming out soon. I'm just trying to get through all these updates. Lajohntay finally had some big updates, so I had to take some time. Will Shepherd, looking smooth, looking clean, looking nice with the 8-7 on him, right? Let's see what he looks like, though, operating out there, moving, grooving, right? And he moves well for his size, too. That's something that always pops out for Will Shepherd. So shout out to him, doing it big, trying to figure it out. And it's a crazy story. I'm gonna do a separate video as more things come out, and just kind of talk about Will Shepherd, the journey, and things like that. But I just love the fact that after a failed physical, we're here. We're taking advantage of the best that we can. So I think it's going to be a lot more positive things for Will Shepherd and many more Buffaloes. Man, lots of stuff just came out. There's so much news coming out. You would probably think because, sadly, minicamp is going to be over, we're not going to get any NFL anything until end of July for training camp. Don't be afraid, because there's plenty of content, plenty of things to be talking about. Colorado just did something else in the transfer portal, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Cam Moore. Like I said, the other guys, checking in on them, checking in on college football landscape. It just changed forever with the NIL stuff. Lots of nastiness, lots of craziness, lots of amazingness, and a lot of things that I'm going to keep you updated, keep you in the loop. Go ahead and drop that comment if there's anything particular you want me to cover. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy football content of all shapes and sizes, man. Continue to be great. We'll see you next time. Peace.